Welcome back to News and Views right here on Salam Media. And this hour of the show is proudly sponsored by Africa Muslims Agency. Africa Muslims Agency, a beacon of hope to communities for over 35 years in Africa and beyond. In a bit, we'll be joined by Sister Haniefa Allee, an extraordinary figure in the field of nursing and healthcare in South Africa. Sister Haniefa is the nursing director of the Islamic Medical Association out in the KZN, and she also runs an organization that is primarily runs healthcare clinics in informal settlements and also a mobile clinic in Hammersdale. Her remarkable career includes serving as the first nurse of color to chair the South African Nursing Association in the KZN and as a member of the National Board of Nursing in South Africa. Today we'll be discussing the IMA's involvement in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, a campaign which aims at exploring the significant goals and how the public can support such an initiative. Sister Haniefa, thank you so much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Salam Media. All right, we seem to have lost Sister Haniefa there, so we'll try and get her via the phone or any other means, but we'll do that after the short break.
Here day by day. This is Salam Media. Tune into Salam Media audio stream.
It has been, if I can say, part of my life to follow the cause of Palestine. But however, with the aggression that has been taking place today, it is something that we have witnessed. It is something that the world has last witnessed something close in Bosnia, and we thought it would end of it somewhere, somehow, with that the fact that it has been documented, the convention has been ratified, and something of this nature would never happen. It's happening and continuing without the world. Note that this happened exactly a year and a half after the Syria and Ukraine war started. The world up in arms, screaming, in defending. It was never the case with the Palestinians.
Ani Rasila Navo, who's on an incredible journey, walking from Soweto to Durban to raise funds for medical care for children in Gaza.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity. Tune into Salam Media via audio stream.
People don't realize, I think, just how serious the situation is. And that is a fairly extreme step of down Daily Maverick yesterday, just for one, in order to try and make this for the public. I find that people, and I tell them, for instance, that in 70% of the works have been lost over the last decade, have just vanished. I mean, it's, I think, to think of another industry which has decimated over a short period of time. And the reason, we all know, is down to what social media, about the tech giants. In the past, media relied on advertising, and business would give us advertising and very revenue stream. Now what tends to happen is that you have a business, you're going to give your ad then to Google or to Facebook. And we have that because, those are where the eyes are, the clicks are. But the result that there has been this incredible action of revenue towards media that is becoming, frankly, unsupportable.
Rebecca Davis from the Daily Maverick.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity. Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salam Media, and we're still tackling the issue of gender-based violence in 16 days of activism. And in a bit, we'll be speaking to Sister Haniefa Allee, and she'll be chatting to us briefly about their efforts in tackling gender-based violence as we observe the 16 days. Sister Haniefa, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Assalamu alaikum to everybody, and hello and good morning.
Walaikum salam. Jazakallah so much for giving us the time and joining us this morning. I think first and foremost, let's start about the main purpose of the activities that your organization will be having during the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and what outcomes are you hoping to achieve?
Well, we people already, and it's already on the go. We brought in people from the very disadvantaged communities to sit down and listen and give us ideas, and let's help each other on how we are going to use this unique opportunity of the 16 days to end the violence against women and children. So this is our standpoint and our point of departure. So this is why we are having this function. But we thought we can bring in people like Ella Gandhi, who's been very involved with these projects, and who would be able to give us the history and why and wherefore. And then we also brought in, the people, Raymond Perea, who is the director, he's a doctor, he's a director of the shelter for the homeless in Durban. We've also brought other people to come in, like we've called one of our subjects, Have Mercy on Our Children, and another one where we are going to talk about the Islamic Medical Association and what we are doing within the communities to inform and advise and keep people on track, because we are a very relevant NGO and we have very many functions. So the Islamic Medical Association has set up this program.
And one thing which is really, really exciting and really interesting for me is the color orange. We know that the color orange is closely associated with this campaign. Could you explain its significance and why it was chosen for such an important cause?
You see, orange is the color that has been chosen. It's a bright and beautiful color, and it catches the eye. And if you are going to be wearing an orange ribbon, people ask you, what are you doing with this yellow or with this orange? For instance, I'm wearing orange today, and people say, oh my God, why this bright orange? So it gives you an opportunity to inform people, catch the people's eye, and ask questions, and talk about this violence. And, this is why the color orange was chosen.
One thing which is quite concerning for me is the fact that there's been numerous campaigns, I think, for the longest time, particularly in the last maybe 15, 20 years, on gender-based violence, trying to educate communities, especially, the disadvantaged ones about, gender-based violence and how it's such a pandemic and how it needs to be curbed. But it seems that message is not landing. Why do you think this is? Why does it seem like we are not winning this war against gender-based violence when there's been so many campaigns? There's a whole 16 days dedicated to it. There are billboards, there are radio messages, there are campaigns and efforts like the ones that you have embarked on, but it seems to be an ongoing, occurring problem here in South Africa.
You see, you've got to understand that from 1970 to 1972, many young people became activists, and they were mainly the youth who wanted to get their rights. The girls decided they want their rights, the males decided they wanted their rights, and as much as it might seem to people, perhaps like yourself, who's asked the question, that it's not landed yet, it has, because we see it. We work within the communities. We work within NGOs. I'm very involved with NGOs. And these NGOs really and truly are working very hard at it. So we are not only talking with the perpetrator, but with the victim also. And we then bring in family members, we bring in religious organizations, we bring in all kinds of people from the different sectors of the community who come in and talk with people at different levels. And no, it is gaining momentum. And I think right now, women are claiming their rights. Women are claiming their rights. So it is landing, but very, very gently. And you've got to understand that we live in a patriarchal society. And patriarchy, it really takes a long while, especially amongst the impoverished, especially since our democracy 30 years ago, or so, we have been trying to get on with it, but it seems to people on the upper echelons, it's not landing. It is landing.
One thing also that I feel like has been a common trend, and I can see that there are some efforts to kind of fix it, is the fact that there's a bit more focus on the boy child also. Well, historically the focus would be on the girl child, educating the women to say, yo, you need to learn your rights, you need to know and understand that when someone hits you, doesn't mean they love you. No means no, and all those little things. Well, on the other hand, kind of neglecting and dare to say almost demonizing the boy child. How important do you think an integrated approach is when it comes to curbing gender-based violence, where the focus is not only on the girl child and educating them about their rights, but also focus on the boy child, educating them about their rights and also their responsibilities, and educating them further about the effects of gender-based violence and rape in this country, which has become also a huge scourge.
You have raised such a major issue. Everybody here in Durban and all through the country know me as Sister Allee. And I go around together with teams. We've got about 18 teams. We go out talking. And I personally introduced with Ella Gandhi, we introduced taking care of our boy child. And we're talking with our boys. We don't, there's always seriousness needed in this issue. So we divide the boys from the girls. We talk with the boys, and then we take information and messages from the boy child to the girl child. That's one. Number two, we do vice versa from the girl child to the boy child. Then we educate our moms. We educate young women. We educate young men. We create awareness amongst the men who are really have an inbuilt button on patriarchy. And I must admit, I'm not being unkind here, but I just find that is taking a long time. But and that is why we decided as the Islamic Medical Association, who run very many projects throughout the country, we decided that we will start with the boy child. We'll start also with the girl child. And you have raised an absolutely important point. And we then discuss with them at the... Then we have talked with the education department, and we've talked with the social work department, We've talked with the health department. So many people would have a program called Train the Trainer on how to talk about these issues without creating havoc and anarchy amongst the different genders. So those are the points that one should really embark on. I hope I've answered your question.
No, definitely you have, and I think it's quite commendable that there's that integrated approach. But Sister Haniefa, I think we have unfortunately run out of time. Really appreciate you chatting to us this morning. We know that you have that seminar that's currently taking place, so let me not take any more of your time. But we really appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for involving us. Thank you. Bye now.
There you go. Yeah, if you're out in the KZN area, you can make your way to number 36 Houghton Avenue out in Sherwood, where today there's an ongoing 16 days of activism and no violence against women and children seminar, which is taking place in that part of the world. It started at 8:30 and will be ongoing until 2 p.m. And this is a seminar which is dedicated to educating people about the scourge of gender-based violence in South Africa, and making sure particularly young people are involved in the fight against GBV, because if you educate and integrate young people, then you have a whole generation ahead of you which knows and understands that gender-based violence is a pandemic in this country. It needs to be stopped, and most importantly, gender-based violence doesn't necessarily mean violence against women. It means violence which is a gender influence. It could be men who are experiencing GBV, and it could be women who are experiencing GBV, but the focus, I think, largely right now needs to be on women, because that's the house that's burning right now, and that's the way all the focus needs to be. So yeah, if you're out in the Durban area, make your way, number 36 Houghton Avenue, Sherwood, from 8:30 it started and will be ending at 2 p.m. We're going to take a quick break. News and views continues after this.